welcome to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. My name is Amanda, and today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be making a recipe for barbecue sauce using Haskaps, which are kind of like a blueberry in flavor, but a little bit more acidic. We're going to make a Haskap and maple syrup and Canadian whiskey barbecue sauce. Now, if you want to, you can substitute blueberries for the Haskaps. That's no problem. You can also make a substitute of brown sugar for the maple syrup if you don't happen to have any. And we'll talk about kind of some other substitutions that you can make along the way. But that's what we're going to make, and it's going to be super awesome. It's going to be like tangy and sweet and a little bit smoky, and I'm super excited. All right, let's get started and take a look at our ingredients. All right, so here's the stuff that we're going to need. We're going to need 2 cups of Haskaps. These ones are frozen and they're kind of just thawing out. Okay, we're going to need 1 medium jalapeno pepper. You can try a little bit more than that if you like, but I'm going to start with 1 and see what I think. We're going to need 4 cloves of garlic. We're going to need a whole kind of medium onion. And then in addition, we're going to need, this is our homemade tomato paste, and that's 1 cup, okay? And then other things we're going to need olive oil, we're going to need our whiskey, we're going to need our maple syrup. We've got some liquid smoke here, which is optional. We've got cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar, okay? We've got Worcestershire sauce. All right. We've got some allspice. And then we've got some cloves, but you could also use nutmeg for this. Okay. So let's get started. So I'm going to start by chopping up my onion. Peeling my onion and then chopping it, obviously. And you don't have to chop this too fine because we're going to puree this. And then I'm going to peel my 4 cloves of garlic and chop them up coarsely as well. And I've got this super awesome garlic peeler thing, which I just love. So you just put your little clove of garlic in here, roll it on in there, and it comes out, and it's peeled. Wicked. And that will do it. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to take a tablespoon of olive oil and we're going to put it into a pot here. Okay, like so. Okay, I'm just turning my gas stove on medium high. I'm going to let it heat up for a couple of minutes. All right, we're going to put in our onions now. And I'm going to turn the heat down to medium. And I'm going to saute these for about 5 minutes, okay, until they're just starting to soften up. Okay, so you can kind of see it's been 5 minutes and our onions are just starting to turn brown and caramelize. They look great. So we're going to take them off the heat now while we add our jalapenos. So I've got my 1 jalapeno, which I have coarsely chopped. If you don't like very much in the way of spice, you can remove the seeds before you chop it, okay? We're okay with a little bit of spice though here in this family. So I'm going to pop that in there. I'm just going to stir it around and let it settle just for about a minute. It's off the heat, but it's still hot, so it's going to cook a little bit yet. All right, now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of our whiskey. And then I'm going to bring it back onto the stove onto medium heat. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to let this come to a boil to start burning off that alcohol. And then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. Okay, it's boiling nicely. And it's actually kind of deglazing the pan a little bit too, which is great. Now I'm going to add our Haskaps. So that's 2 cups of Haskaps. These are frozen, but they're thawing out. Lots of juice. You can use fresh too. Okay, and the liquid's going to come out of those. Then we're going to add our 1 cup of tomato paste. You could make a substitute for ketchup, but then you're going to probably want to reduce the amount of maple syrup. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of maple syrup. And this is maple syrup from our trees too. I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of that apple cider vinegar. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of the Worcestershire sauce, which I can never say properly. And then just a couple of drops of this liquid smoke, if you decide to use it, because this stuff is super strong. I'm actually going to put it into a spoon, just in case. Yeah, I don't want any more than that, because otherwise it's really overpowering. You don't want to wreck your recipe. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our spices. So that is a 1/4 teaspoon of our allspice, 1/8 teaspoon of cloves or nutmeg, depending on what you choose to use. Okay, then we're going to give that a stir. All right, and then we're going to let it come to the boil on medium heat. It is just coming to a boil now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simmer this for about 20 minutes to let it kind of thicken up and reduce a little bit. So if it starts boiling more than a simmer, just turn the heat down a little bit, all right? So we will come back in about 20 minutes and we'll show you what it looks like. So this is now what it looks like after 20 minutes of simmering. That looks pretty good to me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get our immersion blender, or if you don't have one of those, you could just pour this into a regular blender and just kind of puree it. Okay, so at this point now, you can kind of have a little taste and see what you think of the flavor. Okay, tastes pretty good to me. I might add just a little bit more maple syrup to mine because it's pretty spicy. So now I'm going to pour this into a measuring cup. So this made about almost 4 cups of barbecue sauce. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this into some clean canning jars. You could sterilize your jars beforehand and put this into a water bath canner if you wanted. If you wanted to kind of store this for longer. Your other option is you can also put this into the freezer if you're going to want to keep it for a bit. Okay? Or it'll keep for about a month in the fridge anyway. So here is our finished product. And it's a really, really deep, beautiful purple color. And it's got that sweet, tangy, smoky flavor. Really, really great on pork ribs or on chicken. You could even use this as like a little bit of like a sauce. It doesn't have to be meat, okay? Lots of different options for this. You could put it on grilled vegetables too. It's great like that. Lots of different options. Beautiful, beautiful. So we've used haskaps. You could use blueberries. You could use black raspberries, although there would be some seeds in there. You know, just experiment and see what you think. All right? So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please feel free to press the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that way you don't miss any of my videos. And have a great day and hope you enjoy some of this barbecue sauce. All right, guys, have a good day. Bye-bye.